Good afternoon and welcome to the Sports Train. And this afternoon, I am your host, Astil Ren, and my fellow host is Riza Abbasali. We have a very interesting lineup for you, and I will just hand it over to Riza. He will tell you exactly how interesting this lineup is. Riza?
Well, thanks so much, Astil, and good afternoon, all our sports fans out there. We are beaming live here in Diego Martin, courtesy our golden sponsors, Blazer Sports Bars from Chagrit Road and Docks Engineering Works Limited. Astil, just to recap quickly, we had a fantastic show last week. You know, the Olympian Ian Morris was in the house. How you thought that went?
That was a fantastic show, because just having Ian down here from making his way all the way from Siparia to Diego Martin, and I saw at the end of the show, he told us he thoroughly enjoyed himself, and he enjoyed reminiscing, looking back at his career, and he had a wonderful career. Although he never came away with a gold medal, but but fans, Ian Morris is one of a kind. He is a fantastic athlete. He's a committed man, and right now he's coaching down in Siparia. So there's a possibility that he will produce young Morrises in the future.
Definitely, and of course Olympian 88 and 92 Seoul, and of course Barcelona. Well, on the top of our program today, ladies and gentlemen, we talking cricket as normal. We are cricket fans, but we have featured other sports, of course. The Red Force, Astil, has picked their squad for the upcoming regional tournament. But before we announce that squad, we just want to say that that North-South Classic is still, it's still in our minds, having finishing 2.5 days.
Yes, it is, and I am concerned about the batting, and we are going to be talking to someone who is at the top of it, who knows about batting himself, because I played against David, and David scored 133 against North versus Northeast. I don't know if David might remember that, but it was a tremendous innings. He knows about batting, and we'll talk a little about occupation of the crease.
Yes. Well, let's get Director, do we have David on the line on Zoom? David, can you hear us?
Yes, I'm here.
How are you, Coach? Astil now saying that 133 you made about back in the 80s, you couldn't get you out at all.
Sorry about that, Astil.
Coach, it's so good to see you, man. Thank you for joining us here on IETV Sports. Let's we're talking the North-South Classic, Coach, and last week we had, of course, the analysis and post-mortem on the match, and one writer in the Sunday Express described it as a North-South flop instead of classic. I just wanted your response on that, because I'm giving you the opportunity to respond to it.
I think the headline is unfortunate, a little sensationalized, but we have to sell the papers. I think instead of saying the bowlers came out on top in the North-South Classic.
Right.
The type of wicket, although I'll admit that the wicket wasn't. I think the highest score a team made was 207.
Right.
And you're talking about that, which was North, and you're talking that team had Isaiah Raja batting at number 8.
Right.
So it was a difficult wicket to bat on, a wicket which the spinners thrived on. But I think a positive coming out of it is how our bowlers bowl. The fast bowlers at the top, they realized that the wicket wasn't giving them anything much, so they didn't try to attack too much. They just pegged back and put the batsmen up under pressure to score. And then the spinners came on and took the wickets. The spinners bowled excellently. They bowled a consistent line. The control was beautiful. And I think the spinners reaped the rewards on a wicket, that was helping them.
Yes, well, just to give the viewers an idea what happened in that North-South Classic. South 142, 94 all out, and then North 207 and 32 without loss. The highest score in that particular match, Coach, was goalies 53. For South, in terms of the batsmanship, and Astil will come in with this, were you concerned about it?
Yes, it's a concern. As I said, it is not, to me, it was more of a 250, 275 wicket. If you look at the scores there, you will see a couple batsmen got starts and didn't go on. They played the rush shot. They have one or two that, you saw it coming. So the batsmen still have not gotten accustomed to spending time at the crease. I mean, fighting out, yes, the wicket was difficult, but still, I think the 275, 280, I was still hoping the second innings if South could have put up 280 and given out a challenge to get that in the last innings. I think it would have been an interesting game, but I agree the batsmanship wasn't 100%, but we have been working on that the past week and so. Because, just before that, we played a trial game where a 3-day trial game, first team scored 350 odd for 6, and the second team was 380 something for 7.
Right.
So it's not that, but, the wicket at that then was a little better than the one in the North-South game.
Right. Astel?
David, I mean, you must be a miracle worker because you were talking about the batting and getting these fellas ready for 40 cricket. And I mean, you have the experience because you were once a batsman yourself. Now, tell us about what areas will you be working on to get these fellas to spend more time at the crease? Because we see that they have the ability, but what areas will you be driving home to them to occupation of the crease? Technically wise.
I think they have what it takes technically. Prior to the game, and so we have had little time out in the middle, which I think is an important aspect of batting. Getting the batsman to bat out in the middle. In the last week there, what we have done, and again when we bat in the middle because of time,
right.
2 batsmen will bat for half an hour, so that means basically a batsman is batting for 15 minutes. Which is not enough to go on to play at the regional level. So what we have done in the last week there, that we have increased our past practice schedule. Normally we practice from 9 to 12, 9 to 1. We have increased it now from 8:30 to 4 o'clock. And we have batsmen batting for an hour and a half, but not just batting. We have them batting in a purpose. We have them looking to score runs, looking to rotate the strike. And of course, we have them, not getting out. If you get out, you have to do some sort of push-ups or so. The first day was, if a couple batsmen getting out 2-3 times. The second day, that went down to 1 or 0 with the batsmen. So we've seen an improvement. Monday, we're going to practice in the oval. So we're going to play a little game scenario to see how, what has improved or what, again, we have to work on in this last week here before we travel.
Yes.
But David, you pointed to it. You think the wicket at Balmain for that Ford North-South Classic was a bit underprepared because of the... I know I'm not taking anything away from the spinners because you mentioned it that they worked extremely hard. They bowled, they used the wicket, but you thought the wicket... And I mean, batsmen must learn to adjust. If you meet a bad wicket, or a wicket that is not prepared, then you got to know how to stick it out. Are you going to be instilling in your batsmen that they have to stick it out despite if a wicket is helping the spinner, helping the fast bowlers, helping the medium pacers, whatever help is there, batsmen have to stick it out. Are you going to be instilling that in them?
I agree with you 100%. As I said, the batsmen got starts, and I don't think of the 33 wickets, 30 wickets that fell. Maybe 20% the bowlers, really bowl a ball that beat the batsmen. The other wickets, I think was soft dismissals. So we have to get the batsmen to value the wickets more. We have to get them to concentrate more, to focus more. We have asked, a couple of them have said they will put up their hands to get big scores. But again, that being, it has to be done in Midland practice, and hopefully we get the time this week here, because the North-South game again, the wicket was affected because of the rain, so that the covers were on for 75% of the time. So especially in the morning, the early moisture, you saw Caripe opening the bowling for North, and turning the ball from the first ball he bowled. Right. So just hopefully, we'll get better wickets going on. As I said, we're practicing the oval tomorrow. We will have a sort of game scenario and see, how the batsmen go along.
Right. Well, Coach, we're coming down to the end of the interview. I recognize that the writers are picking on certain things, and the writers are reminding us that the last time the Red Force or picked a title or won a title, a regional title, was 17 years ago. Does that put real pressure on you? Because I know you took the mantle of, the coach just recently, and you're chairman, of course, of the National Senior Cricket Selectors. Does it put pressure on you?
I'm going to say, no, you want the team to do well always, over the years, and you're talking about the past, not just you talking about 13 years, but over the past 50 years. Trinidad and Tobago hasn't done well in the 4-day version of the game. In the regional 4-day, I think probably we've won 4 or 5 titles in 50 years.
Right.
One title was drawn with Barbados, I believe, because of rain. So we have to get the players. We have been doing well in the 50 overs, so we have to get the players now to adapt properly to this game. The bat, we have individuals getting individual scores, but we need to come together as a team.
Right.
And get the batsmen, especially the 1, 2, 3 batsmen. I think that will be our major concern. That if we could get one of those 3 in the first 3 to score 100 or to score 80, to bat through the innings, that is what we need to get big totals.
Okay. Well, Coach, we want to thank you so much, and we recognize also your first match is at the end of the month, I think against the Windward Islands, and we certainly want to wish you the best.
Oh, yes, indeed. We wish you all the best. Because
Windward Islands in Grenada.
Yes, in Grenada, yes.
On the big Tuesday.
All right.
Following Tuesday, 31st.
Okay, David, I'm sure that you're going to be having these guys ready and well prepared for the first encounter. Next week, Tuesday, you say?
Yeah. Okay, thanks for having me.
Thanks so much, Coach.
Okay then.
All right, that's David Furlong. Yes, I mean, wearing 2 big hats. He's also chairman of the National Cricket Selectors.
Exactly.
Coach,
I mean, he has a tremendous job. And then at this present time, the team isn't, as we see, the batsmen need to get among the runs. So he has an extra added pressure to get them thinking big and scoring big runs and really scoring the type of runs in which will give the team and the bowlers something to bowl at. You think so?
Yes, and well, still, what's happening now with we switching out to the women's cricket?
Correct. Yes, on the 19
West Indies under 19 team, and we had the women team that is in South Africa. Of course, we had Chanel Saw about 2 shows ago. She's with the team along with 3 other Trinidadian girls. But the big shock today is the defeat against Rwanda.
Oh, yes.
They were bowled out for 70. Following, they were bowled out, by New Zealand in the 3rd match for under 70 already. What do you think is happening?
Well, I think I'm not too surprised about the way in which things are going with this under 19 team. It is a developmental team. It is a team that lacks a lot of experience, but I think what is going to happen, they are going to come out better and stronger players at the end of this series, because they did well. They won the first 2 matches, but they came up against the Kiwis, and Kiwis are a very strong cricketing nation, and then they come up against a team that nobody knew about. But what I want to find out about is that did the backroom staff did their work, did the preparation to understand that we are facing a team that we don't know about. What about the players? Who are the fast bowlers? Who are the medium pacers? Who are the spinners? How many spinners are they going to come into the game with? You've got to be able to work out these things. And this is what the backroom staff is about. This is what your technical staff is about, is knowing the opposition and knowing everything about them. So when you meet them on that day, you are well prepared to face whatever they throw at you.
But something is striking. I just checked. Have noted this. In that New Zealand match where we were bowled out for 68, a leg spinner by the name of Kate Chandler took 3 for 8 in 4 overs. And against Rwanda today, Rwanda struggled to win the match 71 for 6. 2 3-leg spinners apparently bamboozled the girls, the West Indies under 19 team. I don't realize that we are susceptible to leg spin, to that effect?
Well, Reza, if you look at the men's senior team also, spin bowling seemed to be a very foreign thing, commodity among West Indian players. When we used to be, feasting on spinners, be it off spinners, leg spinners, orthodox bowlers. Once you slow the batsmen will feast on you. But it seems like if this present crop of players, they have forgotten how to play spin bowling. Spin bowling is an art to play. You got to know when to come back and across, you know, when to use your feet. One has to be, and it has to be taught that. And I think that is where the coaches go back to the territorial boards, back to the secondary school level. You must be taught how to handle spin bowling. And if you look at it, we have that deficiency against spin bowling, both the men and the women. We have that deficiency. Once the ball is leaving the bat, it's problems. So I think the coaches, they have some work to do.
Well, before we go into the other subtopic with wind ball cricket, I think in Tinnapuna, your good friend Norman.
Oh yes, Norman.
Hear this. West Indies women now have won 2 and lost 2, right? Their next match is against England, the West Indies under-19 women team, on Wednesday, I believe. And that, to me, is a must-win match.
Correct, yeah.
If they have to qualify for the semi-finals.
Correct.
So, but that 68 and 70 to me, I mean, was really, shocking.
Yes,
Yes.
indeed, because I mean, runs and wickets to bring confidence. I mean, to any team, to any player, and I think West Indies will go into the game with a bit. I mean, 60 and 70 is not what you want to go into an all-important game like this, but the adrenaline might be flowing, and you will have, I mean, players may step up to the plate and produce what we were all in the Caribbean hoping for.
Want them to qualify for the semis.
Exactly.
Well, let's go to your friend, Norman Munro.
Yes.
Norman, what is Norman Cricket, Wind Ball Cricket League?
Yes.
You had plenty wind ball days, Astel.
No, actually, I will tell you something. I never liked playing wind ball because when you play hardball cricket, let me tell you something. You know, some players, some hardball cricketers love wind ball.
Yeah.
As Sunil Narayan, he loves wind ball cricket, and some players, but I never liked wind ball cricket because my coach told me, that is Prince Bartholomew and Larry Gomes, and they told me, they said, wind ball cricket, you develop bad habits in your game. You hit the ball in the air, you hit the ball, you hit across the line, and these things affect. They have a long-term effect on your game. So I used to play wind ball cricket very sparingly. But I will tell you, I enjoy looking at the game because sometimes I see teams bowl out for 9 and they bowl out the opposing team for 8. And it is hard, tough competition, you know, where you take on the opposition, you bowl, you bat, and you feel at your top. And Norman, yes. I think Norman Wind Ball League is serving that purpose because when you look at it, he says a lot of great players, local players pass through there. Yeah, and I mean, and he has been around for the past 20 years.
20 years.
Doing well. You know,
Norman, I mean, lovely pictures there he sent to you.
Yeah.
He said that Bravos and the Gangas and Pollard, Simmons, and Narayan's passed through his league.
Exactly. And as we speak, he has finals taking place. The big final is about to bowl off. I mean, the Super League final, the one that everybody will come to see. It is about to be bowled off. So you'll find that that Norman Wind Ball League or Norman's Wind Ball Tournament is serving its purpose because it is getting people excited about cricket, and that's where you start to learn about the game of cricket. I mean, I never play too much of it, but you learn a lot you learn cricket and you enjoy it there. And I think at the secondary school level, at the girls level, they started playing softball cricket. They call it softball. Wind ball cricket is softball. That is just to get them, to introduce them to the game, and that is so important. I think Norman Munro is serving a fantastic item, and he's doing well doing that. I mean, getting players interested and getting people involved in the game of cricket.
Yes. All right, so, well, that's about on the top. So let's take our first break, and when we come back, Rising Stars. Stay tuned to IETV Sports Stream.
Correct.
Are you ready to own your own home, but worried about time, money, and construction? We handle it all. With Docs, you can sleep in your dream. Make a down payment of $100K or $150K, and we'll build a 2 or 3 bedroom home on your unused land. A home is an investment into your future, so let's help you invest wise, invest well. Payment plans available. We're only a call away.
My name is Riza Abasali.
My name is Astor Ren. This is Sports Train. Get on board. Join us every Sunday afternoon for a 1 hour long live program on IETV, your station for real sports.
That's victory for the West Indies, and Sheldon Cottrell has done it.
And we have some interesting features, such as
Great moments in West Indian cricket. Rising stars.
Where Are They Now? Our former sporting icons. Sports Train on IETV. Don't miss it.
Welcome back to Sports Train on IETV, and the trade is moving very quickly. Our 6th edition of Sports Train here on IETV. Well, we are now going to our rising star, and if just we're going back, this is a very promising junior cyclist. In fact, she won the Junior Sportswoman of the Year via the Olympic Committee's virtual program, which was back on December the 29th, 2022. And in that program, or in that honor roll, the Sportsman of the Year was Jareem Richards. Sportswoman of the Year was Tennille Campbell, the cyclist. Jareem, of course, is the athlete who defended his 200 meters title back in Birmingham, England last year. Junior Sportsman of the Year, Nikolai Blackman, who was an outstanding swimmer. Her 3rd consecutive year for Nikolai. But Phoebe Sandy is indeed a very promising athlete, and Astel, my colleague here, had a Zoom interview with her. And let's hear, Astel, what you have for us.
Yes, indeed. I mean, Phoebe Sandy, she is one of the outstanding ones, one of the promising ones, because she's just 18 years old, and she. Amazing about this girl is that there isn't too many female cyclists in the past that she could look back to, look back at and say, well, we have this one and that one. All she's looking at this time is Tennille Campbell, who is currently in Spain, and she has Alexi Costa, who is doing well as a female cyclist. So she has to compete, and it can work in her favor because she's working among her peers and she's doing well, and she's working extremely hard to bring about success, because when I called for her, she was in the gym, you know, and you don't get young people going to the gym to work so hard when it comes to that. So I think let us just sit back and relax and enjoy this interview with Phoebe Sandy. Welcome to Sports Train on IETV. It's a pleasure to have an outstanding, up-and-coming female cyclist. We need you all in this part of the discipline because we don't have too much. It's only yourself and Tennille and Alexi Costa. Well, you must know those names. And there are some others, but just like you, they're up-and-coming. So thank you so much for the opportunity, Phoebe. That's how you pronounce your name?
Phoebe, yeah.
Phoebe, yeah, okay, Phoebe. So Phoebe, let's get going one time. Right? Just tell me exactly how you got started into the sport of cycling, because it is a difficult and a very grueling sport.
Through the development program that the Madonna hosts every Saturday mornings from 9 o'clock. It was through the July-August camp they had, and through that I joined, and ever since started racing.
Oh yeah, so I mean, is that your mommy and daddy got you involved, but did you see anyone who attracted you, who got your interest that you wanted to be like? I mean, male or female?
At the time, no, I didn't really know any much about cycling. I always had like drop lows and stuff, so I was into bikes. And at the time, I did not have any role models in the sport.
So you are self-made. You're working your way through in a discipline that you would like to succeed. Now tell me, what's about the people around you? Your encouragement. Those, I mean, your coaches, your parents, and if there are any siblings and friends, have there been a force of encouragement around you?
Definitely, definitely. The Madonna group, my coaches, my parents, friends, family, they support a lot. And I thank them for that. Yeah.
Let's talk about your competition. I mean, what's the biggest achievement so far that you have accomplished on the local scene? Because I know that you went away sometime and you are one of the outstanding ones.
It have to be the Caribbean Games, setting a new national record was probably the biggest achievement I've done thus far, and looking forward to doing more.
Okay, I mean, and what type of, how would you describe your cycling? Because some sprinters, some like the road, and some cyclists, they are in between. How will you describe your discipline? What type of cyclist are you?
Honestly, I like track more because road I feel like is a different ball game to track. So I prefer track more.
Oh, I see.
Shorter, stronger efforts.
Oh, so you are more of a sprinter. I mean, those who flying 200. What's your favorite? Flying 200. What's your pet discipline, if there is one?
You had really flying 200 and standing 500-meter standing because during the COVID, that was all we focused on was individual events. I believe I excel better in those events.
Okay. Go ahead. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
It was just that than Karen's because Karen's is like a more group event and we wasn't having any group rides during COVID.
Oh, so you are flying 200 and to get across the line as quickly as possible. Let's talk about. I mean, you have been nominated, or you was named Junior TTOC Junior Sportswoman of the Year. Tell me about that. What was your reaction to such an accolade?
Honestly, I was honored. I didn't know I was going to get an award like at least like a week before, but I felt honored to know that I get the title now. Yeah, looking for more.
Were you working towards that? Because you said that you felt honored, but was that in the back of your mind that maybe somebody will see my ability, my potential, and what I have accomplished so far?
No, it wasn't any back of my mind. No.
I see. Now tell me on that night. I mean, when your name was announced, Phoebe Sandy is now the junior. Well, I mean, there must have been lots of butterflies around.
Yeah, of course.
Now let's talk a little about what's next. What's the next step for you? I mean, but before you tell me that, give me a very briefly a day. What's your routine like? How you go about your day? I know when I called you yesterday, you just came from the gym. What's your day like?
Well, Tuesday, Thursdays, Saturdays, there's track in the evening. Well, Saturdays in the morning, Vancouver, NCC. And Monday, Wednesday, Fridays is gym, and sometimes road, depending on how I feel.
I see.
But it's mainly just training and trying to recover and doing it all over again.
I see. Okay. And I mean, and you are 18 years. You said. I mean, what? Are you still at school, or are you doing tertiary education? What is there besides? Getting prepared for being a top class cyclist?
In the future, I definitely see myself going back to school, but for now, I'm not occupied doing anything else.
I see. Okay. So you're putting all your efforts into cycling and see where that takes you.
At the moment, yes.
I see. Okay. And what's about? The how do you see the cycling landscape with the rest of the females around who are cycling along with you? Do you see there's a bright future?
Definitely, there are lots of younger females that are coming on. Like every 3 years, there will be a new junior. That's why I'm seeing, but seeing it actually getting better than back in the day, you know.
I see. Correct, because I mean, what's about Alexi Costa? Because I know that you may not have spent too much time with Tennille Campbell, who is campaigning overseas abroad. But what's about those who are locals? Do they pass on valuable tips to you? I mean, and having the experience because you are relatively new into this form of discipline.
Of course, yeah, they do pass on a lot of knowledge that they have. Whoever they know, they share. If they ask questions, they will answer without any problem. They always share. They don't hold back any information.
Okay, so Phoebe, tell me something. I mean, what's your code of conduct? I mean, when I say code of conduct, what words do you live by? Because I know some athletes say, well, every morning they get up, they have this, they have a ritual which they go through. They say, well, is now or never, or now or later. I mean, no retreat, no surrender. I mean, what are the words you hold on to drive you forward?
God has brought me this far, and He will carry me further. And I must, I will. It's like something I say all the time in my mind, like when doing efforts and you're under pressure, is just you can, you must, you will finish it.
I see, and I mean, seeing that you have chosen such a biblical thing. Are you a Christian? Are you a born again believer, or are you just a Christian?
Just a Christian.
A Christian. Before we wrap up this interview, Phoebe, which is a very nice one, what words of encouragement will you have for other young cyclists, especially females, because there aren't too many of you all around? What do you tell someone who are now getting into it?
Definitely would be that the pain is only for now. When you're on the podium, you would not really feel the pain, but about the pain will disappear. So it's just take the pain for now, and you will reap the rewards of your pain after.
Okay, I mean that's a lovely way of strong words of advice to pass on to young and upcoming cyclists. I mean, and who is your favorite female cyclist? Do you have one, or male cyclist? Because I know despite the gender barriers, we look at qualities in other athletes. And do you have any favorite athletes?
Locally, it is definitely Nicholas Paul and Tennille Campbell.
All right, so that was Phoebe Sandy from Arima down on Astel's side. Astel, she does have a very impressive honor roll, really, for such a youngster. Correct. Because I'm looking here, a National Junior Champ Cycling Track Sprint event, and then she went to World Championships last year, I think in Israel.
Correct, yeah.
You know, where she was performed quite creditably. National record holder, flying 200 for both junior and elite women. The Caribbean Cycling Track Championships last year. So, definitely one for the future.
One for the future, in truth. We are keeping our eyes on her, and I think the whole of the sporting fraternity, especially the Cycling Federation, and Rowena Williams, who is the president, I think she'll be looking at her very closely because she is a very good find, and she's one for the future.
And cycling, of course, is also a leisure sport.
It is. Keep
you fit.
It is, yes. And when you have people like as Roger Gibbon and Nicholas Paul and all those who came before, and Gene Samuel and those, cycling is really up there with the rest of them.
All right. So let's recognize our sponsors: Blazers Sports Bar, Chagrit Road and Docks Engineering and Works. Thank you so much for your golden sponsorship, gentlemen,
yes,
and we really appreciate your gesture.
Yes.
So let's now take another break, and when we come back, we have Where Are They Now? Mr. Suraj Raghunath.
That's
Stay
the
tuned.
man.
Are you ready to own your own home? But worried about time, money, and construction? We handle it all. With Docs, you can sleep in your dream. Make a down payment of $100K or $150K, and we'll build a 2 or 3 bedroom home on your unused land. A home is an investment into your future, so let's help you invest wise, invest well. Payment plans available. We're only a call away.
My name is Riza Abasali.
My name is Astor Red. This is Sports Train. Get on board. Join us every Sunday afternoon for a 1-hour-long live program on ITV, your station for real sports.
That's victory for the West Indies, and Sheldon Cottrell has done it.
And we have some interesting features, such as
Great moments in West Indian cricket. Rising stars.
Where Are They Now? Our former sporting icons. Sports Train on ITV. Don't miss it.
Welcome back to the Sports Train here on ITV. And you are watching this our next segment. Where are they now? Going back into the past and reliving the present. So we have now former West Indies and Trinidad and Tobago batsman Suruj Raghunath. The thing what I like about Suruj Astel is that apart from a very, I would say, impressive first-class career, and although he played just 2 test matches, he still represented the West Indies in 2 test matches back in 1999 against Australia. He has been successful also in the business world, and that is very impressive because he did say to us, I mean, talking about his test career and his first-class career, he had to lean back on something, Astel. And I am very impressed with his credentials. I mean, he's right now CEO of a business school back there in Chaguanas. But your impressions on Suruj as a player and as a person?
Well, as a person, let me start off one time. I like his humility. I like the simplicity, the simplicity of the man. The man is not complicated at all. You can sit and talk to Suruj Raghunath all day, and he will understand every step of the way because he can go to the highest point, and he can come. He also understands the lowest point. So this man, his simplicity, his honesty, and his humility, I love with him. I just love the man. What he represents. And when it comes to being a former national and West Indies cricketer, I mean, Suruj Raghunath, he worked extremely hard. He came from the central area, and a man who just enjoyed playing cricket. Didn't saw himself as being any big test cricketer. Never see himself making a West Indies team. But he just enjoyed his game and he worked his way through. And when hard times came, he worked hard on it also. So, Reza, let us look back and hear what Suruj Raghunath has to say. This is his story. Former national and West Indies cricketer Suruj Raghunath grew up in the central community of Charleville, Chaguanas. It was this backdrop that shaped and propelled the young Raghunath to focus on the game of cricket, not knowing where it will take him.
Listening to West Indies at that time, doing well on the international stage in the late 70s into the early 80s, the period of domination that had started. Winning the World Cups, all of those things resonated, listening to it on radio. All those things would have contributed to me wanting to play.
During the ensuing years, Raghunath emulated his older brother, who also loved the game of cricket and was very influential in his early development from his days at Presentation College to club cricket. Raghu, as he's affectionately called by his peers, blossomed into a very good opening batsman.
I remember, our backyard, throwing up the ball with my left hand, and as the ball was up in the air, I will grab the bat with both hands, and as the ball came down, I will be playing strokes and commentating and pretending West Indies against England or Australia, big test matches taking place at the back of the house.
For Raghu, his hard work paid off, and he made the national senior team after some good seasons with the bat, with Trinidad and Tobago qualifying for the Geddes Grant limited overs final against Barbados. Raghunath was unexpectedly entrusted with the captaincy of the team.
The there was a rift in the team. I think it was Gus Logie was the captain at the start of the season, and there was a fallout between him and Lara, and there was some dissension, and Gus resigned from the captaincy, and I was entrusted with the leadership of the team. And if I remember correctly, it was for the late stage of the tournament. I remember Tio Coffey, who was the coach of the national team, said, "Boy, you should be given the man of the match award for the captaincy in itself." I mean, everything I did on the day came off well, thank God, and we won the match quite convincingly.
Although Raghunath did well as a captain and was complimented by manager Tio Coffey for a job well done, Raghunath struggled with self-belief and at times was mocked by sporting fans for a series of low scores.
So for instance, after some failures and being publicly chastised and being called Raghunath and seeing it in the newspaper, hearing commentators refer to you as Raghunath, walking on the road, playing games, everybody screaming Raghunath, it was very demeaning.
But one day his girlfriend gave him a postal card which turned his life around as he had a closer walk with his God.
I remember in the 90s, my girlfriend then, my wife now, she came home one day and she put two posters in my room, right? And one of the posters was that God made you and he doesn't make junk.
With renewed faith in his ability, Raghunath had an excellent season in 1996, culminating with an unbeaten century against World One Day champions Sri Lanka. This prompted Brian Lara to endorse Raghunath.
I remember Dinanath Ramnarayan, who was very close to Brian Lara, who was the captain of the team at the time. Brian told him even before the game, during that season, he thinks Raghu is now ready for Test cricket.
Raghunath did not light the world on fire during his career, having played just 2 Test matches, but thought he should have been given more opportunities.
I think when I look back at my short career, I'm thankful, very thankful that I had the opportunity to play for the West Indies, because if it's one thing you cannot take away from me, it's the fact that I'm a former West Indies cricketer. But to bat 4 innings, to be not out once, run out once, and have a dubious LBW decision in that as well, yes, I remember that. Right? And to just play 4 innings, I think it's a little bit tough.
Following his retirement from Test cricket, Raghunath served in key positions pertaining to cricket, such as the Chief Executive Officer of the Trinidad and Tobago Cricket Board, an executive member of the West Indies Players Association, WIPA, and also went on to attain a Bachelor of Science degree and a Master's degree in Sports Management. He is currently CEO at CTS College in Chaguanas. Today, Raghu, who is a devout Christian, is enjoying life, is happily married, has 2 adult boys, and was recently appointed pastor at the San Juan Christian Center.
I can choose to look at what other people have and see why I don't have what they have. Why wasn't I as successful as others? Why haven't I had other opportunities that others have had? Or I could have chosen to say, Lord, thank you for blessing me with what I've been blessed with.
And now, the timid youngster from Charlieville, Chaguanas, has grown into a confident man and has some words of advice to up-and-coming athletes.
Have a plan, dream big, understand your why. And if you do those things, nothing is going to hold you back. You will achieve what you want, regardless of the distraction.
I love it, Astel. What is so, surreal about that is, when he was being mocked with his Raghunath, and spiritual depth, to negotiate that, to come back from that. And he's a pastor, he's a successful entrepreneur now, or businessman. It's really not a fancy story, but it's a real story.
A real story, yes,
Yes.
yes, and it shows the simplicity of the man, the honesty of the man, because he doesn't really cover up things. He says it as they come out of his mouth. And I like this man called, Suresh Raghunath, where we developed a relationship long before I got into television, and we continue with that relationship. And I just enjoy talking to him. That was, one interview which I enjoyed doing,
yeah.
because Suresh Raghunath is what you, he is the type of person that epitomizes what being a down-to-earth person is about, you know.
Yeah.
He gets in, he understood what is happening, and he just made it work for him. And it is working for him at this time.
Well, before we take our final break, just to share his first-class averages between 1989 to 2001, 66 matches, 3,261 runs, highest score of 128, an average of just under 30, 200s and 24 50s in his first-class career. I would say that's quite impressive.
Quite impressive indeed. Because Suresh Raghunath, I believe he should have been given more chances at Test cricket, because he deserved that. But he came at a time when things were very, very difficult for West Indies, and they needed results, and they needed people to just come on the scene and just blossom. There was no time for development, no time for growth, but you had to come on the scene and perform and be a bright and shining star. And he didn't do that. So they just cast him aside.
Well, but he survived.
Yes, he survived,
Yes.
and he survived well.
All right, so let's take our final break, and when we come back, great moments in West Indian cricket. Stay tuned.
Are you ready to own your own home, but worried about time, money, and construction? We handle it all. With Docs, you can sleep in your dream. Make a down payment of $100K or $150K, and we'll build a 2 or 3 bedroom home on your unused land. A home is an investment into your future, so let's help you invest wise, invest well. Payment plans available. We're only a call away.
My name is Riza Abasali.
My name is Astil Ren. This is Sports Train. Get on board. Join us every Sunday afternoon for a 1-hour-long live program on ITV, your station for real sports.
That's victory for the West Indies, and Sheldon Cottrell has done it.
And we have some interesting features, such as
Great moments in West Indian cricket. Rising stars.
Where Are They Now? Our former sporting icons. Sports Train on ITV. Don't miss it. Welcome back to Sports Train on IETV down here in Diego Martin, where our station is situated. And we must say a special thank you to our sponsors, Blazers Sports Bar and Docks Engineering Works Limited. Without these people, we will not be doing this program. We say a big thank you for Docks Engineering and Blazers Sports Bar for making this happen. And we come to our segment called Great Moments in West Indies Cricket. Great moments in West Indies cricket. West Indies are not doing all that well at this time, but there were a time when Clive Lloyd and his players ruled the roost. I mean, they really ruled. And Riza, tell us more about that dynasty that Clive Lloyd had.
Well, thank you, Astel. Well, before we start this video, this is about one of the most supreme, elegant batsmen in West Indian cricket history, Alvin Isaac Kalicharan. This setting is in the World Cup of 1975, Astel. In particular, the date was 14th of June 1975 at the Oval in London. And Gordon Ross, when watching Kalicharan hit, against Dennis Lillee in the World Cup, preliminary match, West Indies won that final, if you recall, in 1975.
Correct, yeah.
Virtual through Clive Lloyd's brilliant 100 in the final. They beat Australia by 17 runs. But Kalicharan's onslaught, 35 runs and 10 balls against the great Dennis Lillee, is etched in the annals of West Indian cricket history. And when you look at this, your blood will be chilled. Let's look at Alvin Kalicharan taking on Dennis the Menace Lillee, World Cup 1975, June 14th. Right.
Killer Kali, as his sobriquet is known for. So let's go to him.
That's a fine shot by Kalicharan. 4 runs, beautifully timed. .64 for 1 off 17 overs, 27 for Fredericks, 16 for Kalicharan.
Safe, a shout of anguish from Max Walker, and no chance of it being cut off. Walker hasn't had the best of good fortune out there. He's beaten the bat, had the ball fly off the edge through the slips. Great shot, 4 runs, a beautiful stroke. 2 men after it, neither able to cut it off, and a very good shot from Alvin Kalicharan. Just wide of off stump. He had the foot well across to it. The 3 runs there might even beat Lillee to the fence. It's very quick on that downhill part, and in fact it does beat him to the wrap. Very fast in that area at the Vauxhall end of the ground. Ash the mallet now. Through the gap. Edwards is after it. He'll be the one to pick it up, and they'll take 3 runs. They'll get 4. All run. Good running from Fredericks. Mallet to Kalicharan. Nice shot. Beautifully timed. Never left the ground for the moment. He met it with the full face of the bat. He got it away between mid-on and mid-wicket.
Oh, it's a beautiful shot. Kalicharan just moving ahead of Fredericks. Oh, he's flashed again. 4 more. Don't think Dennis Lillee will be as pleased as those spectators. That's a hook for 4, and it's 3rd bounce. 3 fours in this over. 2 authentic hooks, 1 off the edge. Oh, they're getting delirious now. 3 balls, all gone for 4. And he's done it again. My goodness. 4 fours in 4 balls. A dramatic over they're watching from Dennis Lilly. Kalicharan really throwing the bat. And that's only a single. Down to Turner. Who would have believed that Dennis Lilly would be struck for 18 and an over? The first 4 balls all being dispatched for 4 to different parts of the field by Kalicharan. 3 on the leg side and 1 a very thick edge, a flash on the off. And Kalicharan has moved on in no time to 64.
Kalicharan again as the batsman. Great shot. Beautiful back foot cover drive. A most talented batsman, Mr. Goodfellow. Beautiful footwork, whether against the slow bowlers or the fast men. The back foot coming across here as the ball's on its way.
Pastel, Alvin Kalicharan.
Alvin,
No helmet.
No helmet.
No body pad.
Yeah, no chest pad.
No chest pad.
No arm guards.
You know, that he scored 78.
Yes.
With 62 in boundaries, 14 fours and 1 6.
Well, the man has a super killer Kali, you know, so he went to kill off Dennis Lilly on that day, and he did extremely well because, and when you look at it, no helmet. I think, I believe the level of batsmanship took a dive a little when batsmen started to wear helmets and wear chest pads and wear arm guards and wear all these other things, like if they're going on the field of play in a Roman, in some arena to go and fight. Yeah. But he did extremely well on that day, and that is why great moments in the West Indies cricket, it is always be there playing over and over again. And when you want to see greatness, look at that innings.
So before we wrap up, just check this stat. 66 tests, 43.99 runs, average of 44.43, 12 hundreds, 21 50s. First class average, 505 matches, 32,650 runs, 43.64 average, 87 hundreds, and 160 50s. Alvin Isaac Kalicharan, a supreme player, one of the best in West Indian cricket history.
Exactly. He is a legend, of West Indian cricket. And when you look at the stats and this man's average, you realize the standard in which West Indian batsmen must come into the game. Yeah. And maintain that level. You can't come to play for West Indies with an 18 average and a 22 average. I mean, look at what Alvin Kalicharan has done. And he came from a little town in Guyana. Yeah, little known town, but he made it big. And
met him?
Yes.
I met him some years ago right down here in Balmain, Kufa. Well, that's the wrap for our 6th show. I am Riza Basali.
I'm Aston Wen.
This is Sports Train.
Be there.
Get on board. See you next time.